Alright, here's another problem I've been having. Sometimes randomly on its own, sometimes after I've added a new loop. Say I have 25 loops in here and then I go to put in a 26th one. When I go back through the stuff that's in here that have names on them, all of a sudden one of them just loses its name and it just goes back to, say, memory 8. Now, the loops are still there, but what happens is if you go into them, the volume defaults back to 100, the centering or the balance defaults to center, and the one shot turns off and goes to loop. And this will happen for all 6 of the tracks in this loop. Every single one. If I back out of this, we'll go try number 2. Go into number 2. Check it out. 100 centered off. Back out of it. Let's go into 3. 100 centered off. The problem with that is sometimes I have things panned to the left. Some loops I have panned to the right. And sometimes some loops I want a one shot on, not looped. And the volumes are all adjusted so that there's an even balance between the different loops. I want some loops a little louder and some a little softer, more in the background. These all default back, so I have to go back and either try to reset them by ear, or even a better way is I have to hook the RC back up to my PC and use my backup file to put it back the way it was. But the worst thing is the synchronization is off. It loses the synchronization too, so it doesn't even matter if I try to reset the volumes and the panning and the one shot to where I want them. The synchronization is still off. So I basically have to hook it up to the PC to restore my backup file to get it back. And this happens almost as often as the freezing problem. So I'm constantly having to keep hooking it back up to my computer to reinstall the backup file to put it back the way that it was. Like I said, I can type the name in again, but everything else is so messed up that it's just not worth it. I just have to keep rebacking it up again. Thank God that I have a backup. Otherwise, I would lose it all. Another problem with trying to use this live. And this is not the only Boss product I have. I also own a GT1000. Had no problems with that. That works great. And before I got the 600, I also had the 300. And I don't have any problems with that either. But this unit over here, the RC600, has been nothing but problems since I've gotten it. It really needs to be replaced. Just give me a new one and send this one home with one of your techies. Let them use it for like a month so it has time to show you what it's doing. Your little 3-day test wasn't good enough. It wasn't enough to expose the problems. And this happened on April 1st as well, as was video number 2.